There are a couple of things when I was researching the book which really surprised and interested me, aside from generally realising just how much you can find out about secret material. One was the cynicism of the Foreign Office in places. And there was one staggering document I found which came about 2 years after the Hungarian uprising in 1956. The way the Soviets had brutally suppressed the rebellion gave the Foreign Office a lot of material for their propaganda to publicise Soviet brutality. But they started to realise about 2 years later that this suppression was old news, and people weren't that bothered anymore about it. So I found this crazy document where the Foreign Office said, how about we try and instigate some more Soviet repression of other innocent dissidents, innocent people, in order to use in fresh propaganda? How about we stoke a situation where we create an uprising, the Soviets kill the people in a brutal manner, and that will give us some more material with which to criticise the Soviet Union as part of our propaganda. I just found that line of thinking quite striking. And there was a second document from the Foreign Office again, which gives another interesting insight into what they got up to, which was in the 1970s, a diplomat was kidnapped in Uruguay by terrorists, and the Foreign Office didn't know where he was. So there's a document which outlines 3 potential psychics whom they wanted to employ to try and find out where this guy was. And it weighs up the pros and cons of each of these 3 psychics in the Foreign Office address book, wondering what the diplomat's wife would think of each, wondering how successful they'd be, and just the idea that not that long ago, the Foreign Office had an address book with psychics in and were seriously contemplating turning to mysticism to try and track down a kidnapped diplomat. I just found that quite striking from very serious men. So that was an interesting little aside which we stumbled upon.